What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I'm back. Another clip from the State of the Union, which concerned me. So I think this one might speak for itself. Because, see, you give Joe the stage and a platform, eventually he'll go ahead and say something that'll make everybody's feathers ruffle. If you ever want to motivate conservatives to say, yeah, I'll see you in the next election, you probably will come out and say something like this. Before we get to this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Noble Gold Investments is pleased to let you know that gold is the best investment for the class of 2022. Real estate, crypto, stocks, and bonds, gold outperformed them all in 2022. Noble Gold Investments helped thousands of clients buy real physical gold. According to longtermtrends.net, gold outperformed the S&P 500, the Dow, and Bitcoin in 2022. Had you invested in the S&P 500 a year ago, you would be down more than 20%. And if you would have invested in Bitcoin a year ago, you would be down more than 65%. And if you invested in Dow a year ago, you would be down almost 10%. And yes, gold has outperformed them all in 2022. And silver was not far behind. So what are you waiting for? Join the thousands of others by opening a gold IRA or a silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments. Invest in Noble Gold Investments before the end of this month, and you will bag a free 1/4 ounce American Eagle coin with every qualified IRA or $50,000 or more. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments and their thousands of 5-star reviews. Count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Call Noble Gold Investments at 877-646-5347 for a no-pressure consultation, only conversation. Yes, that is 877-646-5347. And if you're not ready to invest, download the Noble Gold Investments Gold Investments Guide. Simply scroll down below and you will find the link in the description box. And for mobile phone users, click the More button to find the link. Now, let's get to this video.
We need to rise to this moment.
Rise to the moment, y'all.
We can't turn away.
Can't do that.
Let's do what we know in our hearts.
Like what?
That we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform.
What?
Do something.
Do what?
Do something.
Like what?
That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them.
Okay.
Do something about gun violence.
Okay.
Thank God. Thank God we did.
When? What did y'all do?
Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades.
What?
That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. So
far, I'm a little concerned. Now, here he's talking about Uvalde and all of the parents wants, gun reform and all this stuff, which I'm just a little concerned about. They're talking about police reform, which Tim Scott, he tried to do it when Trump was in office, but he was a black conservative, so the Democrats didn't want to work with him. And now when it comes down to gun reform, I'm thinking about the stuff that Joe just came out and touted, and I'm asking myself, would those things actually solve the problem? Nothing that man just mentioned would solve the problem of a full-blown psychopathic criminal that has evil intentions. He doesn't care about those things. So you go ahead and you pass a law so folks can have an extra brace on their arm. I'm just wondering, does that solve crazy? As long as you ain't got that brace on your arm, you're not going to be crazy and be more willing to do something like that. You put that brace on, it makes you crazy. So if we ban that brace, all right, then the craze, it just goes ahead and cuts the craze just like that. And then he talks about, we all support background checks. We all support red flag laws and all that stuff. But see, once again, what Joe is trying to use as some justification for these things is a general agreement that, well, yeah, people should have some type of background check, but the question becomes, does that background check violate their civil liberties? Are you using these background checks to go after law-abiding citizens? Or are you just throwing out the general idea and catching people off guard, and those people are ignorant and they say, well, yeah, that sounds like common sense, man. I would assume that if somebody come in looking like a crackhead scratching and stuff, teeth all rotten, talking like, let me get a 9mm and let me get that AK-47, you might want to say, well, I think this is that case where I'm glad we got general background checks. But what kind of background checks do they suggest would accomplish what they're trying to solve? That's my question. How much more deeper can the background check be than the current background checks that they do? See, they're never going to tell you how this practically and maybe scientifically and systematically will address the problem. How is that going to prevent someone who's crazy from saying, I'm going down there to Rollo, who sells guns, grab me one from Rollo and do what I do? They're not going to come in and submit to a background check. But Joe and the Democrats won't tell you that, because they're not worried about background checks for criminals. In fact, they're okay with criminals doing whatever they do. Let them do what they do. We want to really get our feet and our big old crooked toes right in the crack so we can start going after law-abiding citizens. And once we start getting Republicans to continue to allow them to chip away at the Second Amendment, eventually we'll find an opening to be able to go ahead and lump all of the law-abiding citizens into a group where this new legislation will immediately make y'all all go from law-abiding to a criminal. Yeah, that's what they really want. Because any tyrannical regime starts off saying, let me first of all get hold to speech. Gotta control that mess. Secondly, gotta make sure they don't have nothing to resist our tyranny. Then thirdly, let's get that food under control, okay? We want to limit all of their resources so we can make sure that if they don't like what we're talking about, they can't do much about it, because then they got to starve. You want to starve? Now you want to eat, don't you? Then shut your mouth. Make sure that we control everything through the government. And the very thing that could make them say, well, nah, man, you ain't going to make me do whatever. That right there, we need to get that, because that's what's keeping us from doing to them like we saw them do to the people up in Canada, like we saw them do to the people down in Australia and some of these other countries, like we saw what they did to the people over in China a few months ago when they was having folks get locked up and their houses were burned up and stuff. And then so what? Ain't got nothing to do with us. Yeah. See, so imagine if we didn't have that Second Amendment to fall back on. Do you know what these Democrats would have done to us? So that man getting up there and saying that immediately made my antennas go straight up. And now let me double check, make sure I ain't missed nothing.
2 weeks ago,
2 weeks
during the Lunar New Year celebrations,
Lunar New Year's.
she heard the studio door close, and you saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside.
Okay.
And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio.
Semi-automatic pistol.
11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now.
What?
Ban them now. Once and for all.
Wait a minute. Why is everybody clapping for
We had the
that?
fight to do that in 1994. In 10 years, that ban was law, mass shootings went down. After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons.
Let's finish the job and get all the weapons from the law-abiding citizens. Now, him leading up to his big explosive statement, ban all assault weapons. Notice what he said. A semi-automatic pistol. So, I'm not sure if the dude who was shooting had a semi-automatic pistol or a rifle or a semi-automatic rifle. I don't know. I think he might have had a rifle. I'm not sure. But Joe don't know either. He don't care. Because, see, Joe is the same guy who's talking about magazine capacity and, 9mm can shoot through whatever. He doesn't know. He's this same guy who's talking about, you get yourself a double-barrel shotgun and you shoot two up in the air. That'll scare him off. This is the same guy. The Democrats know nothing about the type of guns, what they mean. They just throw out these scary sounding words that make the ignorant folks say, well, yeah, we don't want nobody with mass shootings and using a semi-automatic, pistol? Yeah, that's what he said, pistol. So then he goes from a semi-automatic pistol, which most pistols are semi-automatic, to a blanket statement of ban assault weapons now. So that pistol isn't an assault weapon. How did we go from, well, I mean, we got these big scary looking guns who look like they are machine guns, and then to find out they're not machine guns, they're semi-automatic rifles, to just labeling those as assault rifles, even though there's no such thing as an assault rifle. But we'll say that. We'll call it that, okay? Because we want to get the public used to identifying an assault rifle with the AR-15 because that's the most popular gun that conservatives purchase. So if there's ever any group of people who might resist tyranny, it's most likely conservatives who actually take the time to understand how the weapon works. They get comfortable with the weapon. They're big supporters of the Second Amendment, First Amendment, all of that stuff. They're educated, high IQ voters and all of that. They're very, very stingy concerning their civil liberties. So if there was ever a group of people that you would like to disarm, it would be all of those folks who own the most popular rifle in America. Therefore, you want to demonize that rifle and make it seem scary. So, once they start checking you by saying that's not an automatic machine gun. Oh, well, it's a semi-automatic, but it's still an assault rifle. Then it goes from assault rifle to assault weapon. That slight change in verbiage might not seem like much, but show me a weapon that is not an assault weapon. Everything you use to defend yourself that can inflict pain or damage or kill somebody else becomes an assault weapon. Whether it's justified or not justified, you use something to assault somebody with. If you get into a fist fight, they call that assault with a deadly fist. Okay, so here this man says ban assault weapons. What is an assault weapon? First of all, there's no term for it, no section in the store that says here's all the assault weapons versus the non-assault weapons. Secondly, that could cover every single gun. But if you're ignorant and don't realize that sleight of hand, that switch up of term and all of that, you will say, yeah, because you are still thinking when they say assault weapons, they're talking about that scary AR-15. But then you'll find out that you say, I support that legislation, only to find out that that means every single gun. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to go that far, but I wouldn't put it past them because they have no governor. And if you let them go ahead and take assault rifles, as they call them, which are nothing more than semi-automatic rifles, just like a semi-automatic pistol, you let them do that. When you start negotiating with these people and you start giving them a little bit, we've seen how they operate. They take it all. Give us 2 weeks to slow the spread. Turn into 2 years. We'll never force you guys to get a shot. Get the shot. They always go too far. And that's why I'm here, to check them by educating y'all and calling out their hypocrisy and their dang on evilness. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms, follow me on Twitter, Rumble. Check my other channel out by clicking on the link in the About section. Subscribe to that channel so we can get those numbers up real quick. Please do so. I'm going to be shooting videos over there. Check out the other videos concerning my breakdown of the State of the Union because you might not get notifications. So go to my channel and make sure you check them out because they're all there, okay? All right. And please donate to the channel if you can. There's links below this video to do that. God bless y'all. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Let's go, Brandon.